One of the biggest challenges for a first-year English teacher is developing reader buy-in with their students in the classroom. So let's say that you have your class set of novels and you have 20 students and then you, the teacher, in the classroom. Okay, what do you do? What do you do that will develop reader buy-in? I think there are 5 basic assessment strategies that are very easy to implement, and they're formative and summative, and that will help you develop not only a cohesive unit within your classroom, but also hit those learning targets along the way. Strategy number 1 is very simple. I call it the softball strategy because almost every single student, it's easy for them and they'll experience success doing it, which will be a rewarding feeling that's going to want to make them get to more difficult reading and comprehension skills later on in the unit. So what I would do is for each chapter or reading section of a book that you're going to have, say you're reading 15 pages of this one day or chapter 1 of this the other day, I would make a list of level 1 questions, meaning Bloom's Identify, knowledge-based, simple questions that the students would answer on a worksheet while they're doing the reading, whether that's independent or as a class. So let's use Of Mice and Men as an example. Those questions would sound like, who is George? Who is Lenny? What town are they going to? Those are ways for students to be accountable for what they are reading and also experience success. The second strategy actually only is going to involve probably a handful of your students in your classroom. These are going to be your struggling readers, and they will be taken out on a one-on-one basis, conference, however you like to do that, and they're going to know that their goal is going to be fluency. The students are going to be, when you approach them about this goal, they're going to be thankful that a teacher has recognized that they do have some fluency issues, and that most students, when they are targeted in this way, are grateful that it's going to be something that they get to work on. And then these students, when it is their turn to read aloud, as a teacher, you would have a fluency tracker on you, and you would mark down the progress. I really recommend starting with the diagnostic so you can see where the students are starting, and then that way the student can see progress over time. I had a student in January who really struggled reading out loud, and he was not confident at all, and he got really into the novel, again, Of Mice and Men, and he would read out loud about a minute a day, probably maybe a page, and he didn't feel very good about it, but by the time we were on that second book, he could see his fluency had increased in a lot of different ways and lots of different levels, and he saw that characterization was one of his lower skills, and he wanted to get more into the character. So when we did Night in February, he got really into that voice, and by the time we finished Night and now we're in Raising the Sun, he has become one of the key readers in the classroom. The next strategy and how to use assessments in your classroom while you're structuring a novel is through vocabulary. The benefits of vocabulary while reading and the exposure that students get to reading in books can never be overstated. The next strategy we're going to discuss is a really easy one to implement. It's basically just tracking student Lexile scores and making sure that those scores are visually public in your room and on display at all times. So when the students walk into that classroom in August, they are getting their Lexile scores documented. So then you're going to do Lexile scores measurements in August, probably again would be December, and then the third time you want to do it in April. And they will feel so proud that first time they see growth in December that it's almost going to be an addictive pull for them to want to improve even more in the spring. Okay, the next strategy that goes really well along with your Lexile strategy is next to in your classroom when you're displaying your Lexile levels for each student and how they're progressing, you want to also be encouraging publicly in your classroom outside of class reading. This is reading that they're doing for leisure and that they are being encouraged to do with their teacher. The way I track this in my classroom is not very formal or fancy at all. We purely have every student's name and a sticker next to each of their names for every book they've read. Potentially I might change it up and have it be more scientifically based in the future, but this is what I'm doing now, and I'm finding that students, 17-year-old boys, are coming in very excited about putting a sticker next to their name. I'm an avid believer that using these 5 strategies for any first-year teacher is going to be a really great way to allow your students to hit those learning goals that they have for the school year. And I think it does so in a more formal and informal way. And on another note, not only are these strategies going to help the cognitive abilities of your students, but it's fun. Your students are going to experience euphoric moments while reading, and that's something you can never take away from them, and it's something that they'll have when they leave your classroom.
Y'all seen the news? What's all over the colored paper this week?
No, didn't get mine yet this week.
Lifting her head and blinking with the spirit of catastrophe.
You ain't heard about them colored people that was bombing out their place out there?
Ruth Strick was concerned and takes the paper and reads it. Johnston noticed her and feeds commentary.
And make significant gains that are going to put them on a different life path. That's to Teach for America that year. In the year. Oh, shit. You'd also need to talk to your administration about how you can be licensed to, sorry, you don't need to be licensed to teach Lexile, I shouldn't have said that. It would be a summative assessment, no, formative, excuse me. I don't know why I'm freaking out. That's something that you can't take from them and that they'll have after they leave your classroom.